An IDF soldier is mistaken for a militant and shot dead at the Gaza border. US National Security Advisor defends John Kerry in wake of Israeli criticism. Iranian foreign minister says a nuclear deal is reachable within 6 months. And African asylum seekers set up a camp in South Tel Aviv's Levinsky Park. Shalom and welcome to the Jerusalem Post News, our top stories for Tuesday, February 4th. An IDF officer was shot dead by friendly fire early this morning after being mistaken for a militant near the security fence in the northern Gaza Strip. Captain Tal Nachman, aged 29, was from Ness Ziona and had been commanding intelligence reconnaissance forces from the Gaza division near the border. He was mistakenly identified by a Givati Forces patrol, who then fired at him reportedly while he was sleeping on top of an armoured vehicle. Nachman's father told Army Radio his son was a gifted student who had been killed for nothing. Today was to be Nachman's last day in Gaza before transferring to a quieter location. He was laid to rest this afternoon in the Ness Ziona cemetery. US National Security Advisor Susan Rice defended US Secretary of State John Kerry today after he was criticized by a handful of Israeli government officials over comments he'd made on the weekend about the Israeli-Palestinian peace talks. At the Munich Security Conference on Saturday, Kerry appeared to suggest that an economic boycott against Israel would be a consequence should a peace deal not be reached. Rice, who was the US envoy to the UN before her current position, sent out a number of tweets defending Kerry, saying personal attacks in Israel directed at him are totally unfounded and unacceptable, and that the US government has been clear and consistent that it rejects efforts to boycott or delegitimize Israel. Iran's Foreign Minister Javad Mohammad Zarif says he believes a final deal with world powers on Tehran's nuclear program is possible within 6 months, provided there's goodwill involved.
We didn't take all this public pressure in Iran just to have a 6-month breathing space. We did it because we want to change the nature of Iran's relations with the rest of the international community. And that is what we can achieve. And I can promise you that with your help, and with the help of other members of EU 3+3, we can do it within 6 months.
In his speech to the German Council on Foreign Relations on Monday, Zarif said he's not worried about the US Congress trying to impose new sanctions. This comes after US President Obama said in his State of the Union address last week that he'd veto any American legislation that might threaten talks with Iran. Talks with the 6 world powers towards a final nuclear deal begin in Vienna on February 18th. Over 100 African asylum seekers, mostly from Eritrea and Sudan, have set up a sleeping camp in South Tel Aviv's Levinsky Park. The community's leaders say they're protesting the continuing arrests and their imprisonment in the new Holot detention facility in the Negev and other prisons, and that they will stay at Levinsky Park until further notice to draw attention to the state's international human rights obligations to process their asylum applications. That's it. We're back tomorrow with more main headlines. Until then, shalom from the Jerusalem Post studio.